In this episode, we will discover about biomes and ecosystems. Let's start slowly. Planet Earth is a beautiful place that houses millions of species that have evolved and adapted to all sorts of climates. What is climate? Well, climate represents the weather conditions that are mostly seen in a particular area of the planet. When talking about climate, we usually specify the average temperature, rainfall or precipitation, humidity, wind velocity, and more. Some parts of the planet are very different from one another. For example, tropical rainforests are nothing like deserts. In tropical forests, humidity levels and rainfall are really high, whereas deserts are dry and rarely have rain. These zones with different climates are what we call biomes. There are 7 biomes on Earth: deserts, tundra, taiga, temperate forests, grasslands, savannas, and tropical rainforests. Do you want to learn about the differences between the biomes from all around the world? By the end of this episode, you'll be able to know in which biome you live. Let's go for a trip around the world. Let's start with the desert. In this biome, the temperatures are extreme. Animals and plants living here adapted to the desert climate. They're able to resist droughts, lack of water, and often intense heat. For example, camels can go for days without food or water, and plants have very long roots that are able to get water from deep in the soil. Do you think it rains a lot in the desert? No. As we said earlier, it's a very dry place. There's less than 25 centimeters of rain per year. That's really low. Let's ask our friends, are there some cold deserts on the planet?
Yeah, at night.
Yes, the day is very hot and the night is very cold.
At the day it can be very hot, but at night it can be very cold.
Yes. In the night it can get really, really cold.
Yes, at night.
Do you think we can find snow in some deserts?
I think they could.
Possibly. Not covered, but there can be at night.
As our friend said, deserts can be cold at night because the heat contained in the sand dissipates quickly. But can there be snow? Contrary to popular belief, deserts can be covered in snow, even in the daytime. The record for the hottest desert goes to Death Valley in the United States, where temperatures can get as high as 57 degrees Celsius. Oof. As for the coldest desert, the winner is the Arctic polar desert, with temperatures regularly going as low as minus 34 degrees Celsius. Brrr, I'm cold just thinking about it. Heading for the tundra. Most of the year, the tundra is a cold and frozen place. When walking through the tundra, we can see that the vegetation is sparse, which means that plants and trees are really far from one another. Plants are small enough to resist the harsh conditions, like strong winds. In this biome, we find small mammals like lemmings and Arctic hares, but also large mammals like caribou and polar bears. The harsh conditions in which those animals live force them to adapt to survive. For example, many animals accumulate body fat to keep themselves warm in the winter. Just like our coats help us keep warm during the cold days. Let's travel to the tropical rainforest. In this biome, you have to be prepared to encounter rain because there is a lot of it. Even so, temperatures are high all year round. It's here that we can find the greatest diversity of plants and animals. We find animals like toucans, sloths, orangutans, many species of frogs, and much more. Now, let's explore the taiga. The taiga is located up north, just below the tundra. Summers there are short and humid, and winters are long and cold. The average annual temperature is colder than that of the tundra. This is where we can observe the conifer forest, also called the boreal forest, composed of spruce, pine, and fir. This forest is well adapted to all sorts of temperatures. In fact, thanks to the needles covered in wax, these conifers are good at retaining water inside. Next, let's visit the temperate forest. If you live in southern Canada, maybe this one will sound familiar. In this type of climate, there are 4 distinct seasons. During the summer, temperatures are between 21 and 32 degrees Celsius, which means you can wear shorts and a t-shirt and be super comfortable. In winter, temperatures drop to -10 to -18 degrees. In those months, it's better to wear winter gear when you go outside. Different species of animals live in the temperate forest. For example, you can observe a white-tailed deer, an American robin, the common garter snake, and many species of insects and other arthropods. In North America, you can also witness impressive birds such as falcons and snowy owls. And let's not forget the different mammals from the deciduous forest, including raccoons, porcupines, and red foxes. Now it's time to take a look at grasslands. Here, we could admire vast expanses of grasses and only a few trees. Temperatures vary and rainfall is moderate. There is a little rain, but not too much. In the more humid parts of this biome, grasses grow to be very tall. Numerous insects and animals live in the grasslands, such as gazelles, zebras, lions, prairie dogs, and snakes. The soil is rich and fertile, which means that many plants can grow there, such as the wheat that we use to make bread and pasta, such as spaghetti. Now, let's hear what our friends have to say about the next biome, the savannah. Can you describe the temperature of the savannah?
It's hot.
I think it's very, very hot.
It doesn't rain a lot, and it's very hot.
Really, really hot.
It's hot.
Can you name some animals living in the savannah?
Zebras, giraffes, lions, and hyenas.
Elephants? Giraffes?
Zebras, lions, giraffes, elephants.
Giraffes.
There are elephant, giraffes.
Lions, elephants, zebras, giraffes.
Savannas exist in many African countries like Tanzania, in South American countries like Brazil, as well as in Australia and India. The savanna is like a tropical grassland, and we usually find them near tropical rainforests. Temperatures are high all year round, with a hot, wet summer and a dry winter season. This is finally the end! These are the biomes of our world. What a trip it has been! As you can see, the Earth has a huge diversity of habitats to welcome different types of plants and animals, and other species. All species living today have established their homes in one of these habitats and have adapted to their climate thanks to millions of years of evolution and transformation. Nowadays, climate change is triggering important changes in habitats in which animals live. For example, the amount of rain in one location can become higher or lower than usual, and the temperatures can heat up or get colder. In other areas of the world, there can also be less food available for animals because, once again, climate change is changing their habitats. Even though plants and animals are able to adapt to those changes, it can actually take hundreds or thousands of years. For most of them, it's a huge challenge, sometimes an impossible one, to adapt to the speed at which the climate is changing. It's one of the reasons why conservation of habitats is so important. Did you know you can help animals and plants survive climate change even in your own backyard? Trees, garden, soil, and even compost are microhabitats. You can protect animals living near you by planting trees, taking care of your garden, or even installing a birdhouse. Animals will be grateful and have a safe place to live. So, do you understand a little better what biomes are and their importance for all species living on Earth? If so, you click the like button at the bottom of this video. You can also try our quiz, Climate Change and Me, on our website. Challenge yourself on what you've learned today and try a surprising experiment at home. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another episode of Climate Change and Me.